Hey mathletes, so in this video we're going to look at solving systems of equations by graphing. So remember from my introduction that when we graph a system of equations, we can have three possible outcomes. The equations can be parallel, which means they have the same slope but a different y-intercept, so they're not going to intersect. This has no solution, that's called inconsistent. If we graph two lines and they have a different slope, then they're going to have a point of intersection. At one point, if they're lines, if they're quadratics or something else, they could have more than one. This is called consistent because it intersects, and it's independent because there's one solution. And if you graph the two lines and you wind up with only one line, that means they meet at an infinite number of points. So there's infinite solutions, so this is consistent and dependent. So here we have two line equations in slope-intercept form. So they both have the same variables, x and y. If it's a real world situation, you would want to make sure they have the same variables of like time, distance, time and money, or whatever. So in this case, slope-intercept, our slope is 3/2. So it's positive, so it's going up. And we always want to try to go to the right. And our y-intercept is -3. So 0, -3 is going to be the point we start from. 3 up and 2 to the right. It's going to put us here. Just draw a line through that. There's our first line. So the second line we have is y equals -2x plus 4. So a slope of -2 is the same as -2/1. So it's negative, so it's going down. And again, we always want to try to go to the right. And here the y-intercept is +4. So on the y-axis, we're at 4. We go down 2 and 1 to the right. And then we draw our line. Here we can see the two lines intersect at the point 2, 0. So our solution is 2, 0. So this is consistent and independent. So in this case, we have two different line equations. One's in standard form and one's in point slope form. So we're going to do this example just to get practice graphing these other two forms. So for the x-intercept, to graph standard form, we're just looking at the x term of 2x equals 6. And for the y-intercept, we just want -3y equals 6. So we'll divide by 2. So x-intercept is 3. So it means on the x-axis at 3, there's a coordinate. For our y-intercept, we'll divide by -3. So the y-intercept is going to be -2. So -2 on the y-axis, there's a point, draw the line through them, and there's our line. So this line here is in point slope. So the slope is still the number that's going to be multiplied by x, the coefficient. So that's 2/3. So it's positive, so we're going to be going up, and then 3 to the right. The point, the number inside the parentheses with x is the x value. Remember, it's supposed to say minus, so if it says plus, that means it was a negative value. So the x number is -5, and the number with y is 2. So the starting point here, instead of on the y-axis, is at -5, 2. From there, we're going to go 2 up and 3 to the right, and then draw our line. So what we can see is that they both have the same slope, but a different y-intercept. So the lines are parallel, so they're never going to intersect. So this has no solutions, which means the system is inconsistent. So to solve systems of equations by graphing, you just graph the equations you have on the same coordinate plane and look for where they intersect.